It's 6:30 in the AMs on the Easterns. Can I say Eastern Seaboard? EST, whatever. And I've got my walk in and I've taken a look at ICT's review of yesterday's price action, and I want to kind of dig into what he was doing there and just kind of focus in on some of the line items that he was kind of trying to showcase so I can better understand what the heck he's going on about, because it's the only way I'm going to learn, right? I got to dig in. So that sounds like a good time. Let's have some fun. Kitty is hanging out with us. Yay. He's literally been stuffed at my side. Poor baby. All right, that sounds like a good time. Let's get on with it. I'm making myself tiny. All right, cool. So, this is ICT's review of yesterday's price action. He does a little bit with Forex at the beginning, just kind of talking through high level stuff, and bye bye kitty. And then he does a little NASDAQ, and then this portion he's digging into the S&P. So I am going to use my mesh because I was doing a bunch of stuff with it yesterday, and we're gonna dig out into the daily. And as you can tell, I took a couple trades yesterday. One, two, three, four. Yep. One, two, three, four. Two were good, 5 handles. Two were, I got impatient. You know what? Let me show you those first, and then we'll we'll dig in. Um, we'll back out under here. So let's go into the 5 minute. Let's do the auto thingy. All right. So ICT gave us some homework yesterday, and he basically wanted us to get 5 handles, so 20 ticks, you know. So this was my first 5 handles right here. Why did I take that? Well, let's take a look at what was happening in price. Let me hit the replay button and drop us to about there. And I was on the 1 minute when I was doing all of this fun. Kitty's back. Let's dig back over into, sorry, Wednesday. It's in the right place. Is it not showing the executions? 940. Oh, weird. I guess with the replay, you can't see the executions. Well, anyway. So here's one where I was really pissed because I got in a little bit lower, but look up here at this below of this candle right here, right? It's 39.8650, and then the high of this candle is 39.8650. So if I had set this order block, because I was expecting to come back up into the space, right? Sorry, let me get that right. Would have tapped it perfectly. 5 handles drop. Mine was a little closer down, so I was doing market order, so a little tiny spread got attached to it. So I got my 5 handles, and just so for funsies is what that looks like. And the annoying thing is I'm using my TradeStation, so it's hard to see history. So I had a couple of fills. I was hoping it would show me like the realized and unrealized profit. Yesterday it was at 46 because I got my 5 handles, then I had two stopped out, and then another 5 handles, and ended up with 46 by the end because I'm doing the micros, so it's like 5 handles is $25. So so the history of my attempts, expiration dates, right, open time. So let's see, I had a fill on 125. Oh, my last one was at 325. I did one more in the afternoon, and that got me sorted out. Okay, so let's see. Limit price, filled one. So that was canceled. Okay, so I was selling at 39.84.50. So let's get that sorted out. 39.84.50. Let's drop it here. Adjust this. So I was close to that order, but not perfect. And 39.79.50. So that was my, whoops, let's make that a little smaller. Learn to read this thing. Let's come up here. So my order was right in here. My stop loss was above here. So my stop was set to 39.86.75. 39.86.75. So it's a pretty close stop above that thing right there. And that played out quickly, relatively quickly. So my order was in there and then down to there. Beautiful. 5 handles, $25. If I was doing the e-minis and not the micros, that would have been $250. So then, and let's come back in here now. So then I was waiting, and my next sell order, my stop was hit. My next sell order was 39.64.50. 39.64.50. Now, what was going on there? I need to make this small again. Do I do that? Okay. 39.64.50. So 39.64. So 50. Let's make sure that's 20 handles. All right, so that's down here somewhere. And I got stopped out. So what was my... So this is where I was getting impatient, right? And my stop was 39.67.50. So I'm just reviewing my activities here. So I wanted 20 handles, which would have put me down at 39.69.75. But what was my problem here? Price. I was not waiting. I was expecting, price had dropped below here. I should have been a lot more patient, right? And waited. You know what? Let me take this off so we can go into it properly. So I can see the actual executions. It's so much easier to look at that way. It's just annoying. Yeah, so I did 2 orders here and then a final good one here. So annoying. So this was at 10:40. So let me just do the 1 minute and then we can roll back to here. Okay, perfect. Let's zoom in so we can look at my mistakes from yesterday. Okay. So this one was good because I ordered on this candle. I wish I'd gotten the more precise order, but it's pretty close. It worked out well. So then I was working, then I came back and I don't know what I was thinking. They'd already taken out buy side here, sell side here, and I was still short biased in this moment because we'd been making, we come down, we'd broken this, and, we'd broken it with some gusto. So I should have waited for price to come back up. And that's what I did the second time, right? Into these order blocks right here. So I waited and then for them to deal with this imbalance or fair value gap right here. So I literally waited for that. These 2 here were I don't know what I was doing. I was just being silly. This is like general madness. Like I took a short here, got stopped out here, took a short here, got stopped out again. 20 handles did not occur. Price came and took me out. Because then I was looking for, you know, I'm looking for 20 handles in this general vicinity. And then let's just make sure, because I was shorting this whole time, these two. Well, those executions don't look all kinds of right. Like this one makes sense to me. This one makes sense. Oh, right. I was stopped out on this candle. I ordered on this candle, got stopped out on this candle. That's what's happening there. So obviously I didn't get my 20. I got stopped out. I was probably taking my thing right above here because I didn't want to, if I'm wrong, then I wanted a small hit, like $7, $8, something like that, you know? And then when I finally waited and let price come back up into these order blocks, I believe I set my order somewhere in here. This, I like to use the second one, the base of it. So that guy, what was that? 39.74.25. Let's see if I got that order or if I got lower. Because that's a limit order, I think. So the last one of the day. Oh, that's three. The second one in the morning, I should say. There it is, right? So, actually, no, that's the. Where's my sell at 10:40? 10:40. What time was this? 10:47 was when that filled. Okay, down here. So my sell order was 39.72 and a quarter. Yeah, inside of this candle. Not quite at the order block. I use the base of this green one. So I got in. Was that a market order? Yeah, I just hit it. I didn't set a limit order. My stop was set to 39.73, super close. And I got filled at 39.67 for 5 handles. Not bad. And then, did I get one in the afternoon? I feel like I got. So I had an order set at 3 something, and then I had a limit order that was filled and a sell order for 40.30. So 40.25, 5 handles there as well to shore me up. So basically, these two messed up. So I got this first one. These two, took away most of this. This one gave me back most of it. And then when I ordered again in the afternoon, um, I had a buy order because obviously big shift. Price came back into this general area for this fair value gap. And so I was looking for something here. So 40.25 inside of that guy, all the way up to there. I was watching, I was like, ooh, that's a rough spot. I shouldn't have taken it there because is the first time it's come down into it, they always like to come back and like bite you one more time. So then I could have gotten an entry here that had given me 5 handles. Pretty sure it would have from that spot. So if I had taken the tip of that order block, well, I would have taken the bigger one, right? It's higher than that. That guy. And 5 handles, easy. So that would have been an easy run, and then I would have just put it under the candle right there. So 6 ticks for 20, and that would have been a quick 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes at most into that. Instead of me sitting through, man, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 minutes of still not bad, but this is choppy. This was nicer. And then it came back down into this bigger um um order block right here. and gave us another opportunity to get in on this action. We might even cut through because this is bigger. This makes more sense. So we could have taken an order from here actually, and then rin it up to take out this buy side right here because that's what they've been doing. Look, buy side taken out, buy side taken out, buy side taken out. Nice. All right. So let's dig into what ICT was talking about. Let's head into the daily and let's try and annotate everything. Where'd it go? Let's try and let's take these executions off because that's super distracting. Okay. So I'm testing TradeStation out. Apparently, I need to correct my original thought because I hadn't. If you don't fund your account, the connection between TradeStation is super slow. Once I funded the account, then it was, at least from yesterday's trades, it was real time. So I didn't find a problem. I'm pissed though because I'm gonna have to close the account because of my job, but it is what it is. All right, so what do we have here? First things first, we have this rejection candle right here, consequent encroachment, and I'm going to use this guy to help me figure out the exactly halfway point of that. And then we're just going to plop this right there, just a smidge. So just setting bullseyes and targets, right? Same scenario for this guy. I'm just going to zoom in with my eyeballs. Kitty's up and wanting attention. So let's drop C dot E on that. So I'm trying to understand consequent. Actually, let me consequent encroachment. Is that how you spell that? I don't know. We're about to. I guess not. Ooh, it's an A. Nice. I've never spelled that word before. Fun. So I'm gonna save this. Let's adjust this and what fun colors shall we use? Let's use like a yellow on that. And let's give that a solid line and let's um, save that as consequent encroachment. Boom. Beautiful. So there's that one. And then he was also noting the halfway point between this one as well. So I'm going to just clone this guy and we're just gonna I've tried eyeball halfway through that. Zoom in just about, yeah, approximately. And I'll just double check this guy. Okay, so general vicinity there. All right, so this consequent encroachment for both of these candles. So in terms of targets, so we've got 40.77 and a quarter and 41.20 even. All right, so then he's saying, and let's dip back in, right? He was basically looking at the fair value gap between this guy right here. I'm using the imbalance finder, which just makes it easy to see. So he was pointing out that the fair value gap between this candle and this candle, like so, they came and took basically consequent encroachment of that fair value, mean threshold, sorry, of that fair value gap by a little bit. So if you were to measure that, this guy, so they came to it, they took a little bit out, and then they went away. Now, I mean, probably during the day this looks pretty ugly, but we'll dig into that, right? So this is the daily FVG. So And let me try and make sure I'm as accurate as I can with it. And I'm gonna just note the center of it because that becomes important because he's saying that whenever he sees, actually, let me put this back. He's basically saying that whenever you see like a bigger change like this and price breaks back into it, if we're remaining bullish, then he doesn't want to see the second half of it taken out. So let me do this. Whoops. And let's delete that. And let's call this CRUD. I just forgot the naming convention because we have consummate encroachment, mean threshold. Mean threshold. Okay, so this is the mean threshold. So he doesn't want anything to, it can come back. He wants it to come back into the top portion of it. So let's adjust that to blue and let's give that line like that. All right, let's dig into the 1 hour for yesterday's price action and see. Now, part of the reason why he says that is that, like we're in, when we're, once it busts through here, so this is like in a premium price is expensive, so you'd be expecting it to turn around from this here, and it busted through here into a discount, which would have made it like a good plan for it to continue moving upward as it came into this imbalance. And then I myself had specified this as a sell side liquidity to be taken because it was way too clean down here. So I was expected to come down here. Plus, I'll just go ahead and just add this imbalance or fair value gap. So I have this FVG, and I'm going to change the color on this guy. Let's make it like a light blue. And this is like the 1 hour one, right? And so then we had this smaller one below, and they came and they took all of that, and then they left the rest. Did they even tap it? No, they didn't. Okay. So they busted into a premium, turned around, took out this short-term low to make this one, couldn't take this out, which, this is a break, came back up into this order block. You could have been a buyer here, sorry, a seller here, and then you could have been aiming for this guy, which is why I spent my time trying to take shorts in the morning here. And I switched to longs in the afternoon because we took out this during lunch and we kept climbing. And then I was expecting it to take out this high right here, which it did. On Tuesday. And of course this high. And then come into these fair value gaps. So things that he's noting that I'm not aware of. So let's come back in. So I see we're talking about the whole discount thing. If you're bullish on the daily, then you expect them to come and take about half of that, but not the rest. Otherwise, they'll be digging further into, and your thought process might need to change. Okay, so let's move this forward a bit. So he's talking about that right there, and then now he's dipped into the 1 hour as well, and he's noting the buy side at 40, 56 and a quarter, and then the other areas. So let's see. So this guy right up here, 40, 56 is buy side. I mean, obvious. I don't have replay on, right? Good. So we're still working our way up to this guy. And then he was talking about this buy side, which they did take. Boom, right there. And now we're just kind of like thinking about what we want to do. But you can see that pretty much they've taken out sell side here, here, here to hit this ultimate goal down here. All right. So then he was noting um, this fair value gap that formed right here. Why? Because from his perspective, like it became something of resistance, right? Like it's like real resistance, right? When it tapped it here and then flew away. I find that I'm seeing that a lot more often than I would have thought, you know? I don't know about you guys. Try to make this just right. Zoom in a little. Okay. And then maybe it's easier for me to see when I pull it this way. Beautiful. This candle, that candle, beautiful. So it came in and it flew away. So then he was expecting, so once it punched through here, then for this particular area here, it turned into, actually, this is support right here. And then it turned into resistance here. And then it dropped. Let me see. Can I try and do this without the imbalance fighter on there? Because it should be easier to see. Because here we have this guy. Could have used it as a target coming back up, or this high right here as a target coming back up, or this one, which they took. So both buy sides take it. Okay, so then this turned into resistance. Price hung out and meandered about in it for a little while and then dropped into the hourly. Fair value gap, took out the sell side here. I would have been targeting this, maybe a couple pips below it into the imbalance, and that would have been fine. And then they hit the mean threshold for the daily. Beautiful, beautiful. And then they flew away. So, and he's saying this is best to be left unfilled if that's the case. So consequent encroachment is what he's calling this. Consequent encroachment on the fair value gap. All right. Make sure I'm not naming it wrong. It's mean threshold on the order blocks. Sorry about that, guys. Spell it right? With an A? Yes. So let me turn that yellow since that's what I'm using for that. So it hit consequent encroachment on this guy in the middle and then took off. All right. And let me just make that annotation as well because I'm going to be saving this for my records. Be left unfilled if bullish intent, bullish bias, I'm going to say, from daily. Because the daily one has a lot more like weight and power, whatever, I'm assuming. I'm finding that anything higher time frame is a lot stronger than anything lower time frame. So, and so let me just add second half of daily FEG. Okay, I'll take a couple of screenshots of this. All right, so other things that he was noting as price moved up, and let's drop to the 15 minutes. Let's see if I can spot them myself, right? So we're talking about this fair value gap that acted as support here, and then price busted through it, and then it supported here, and then acted, and then became resistance, right? So we had, it might have traded a little bit above it, but it stayed there, then stayed within it, and then came back up into the mean or consequent encroachment like halfway through and then sold off. So watching this price action in here trail back up not make anything super. Um, there's this fair value gap right here between here and here as well to be noted as a target, right? Two. And then we have this buy side, and again, that one. And what else can we see in here, right? So, did we create any voids? Fair value gap. Price becomes balanced because it drops, retraces back into it, and then does some stuff, comes back up. So this is a balanced price range according to him. Now, could we have found additional entries? So let's continue moving this forward. So still in 1 hour, he's talking about how it comes into it. Da 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 da. Oops. Sorry guys, this is not my regular account, so it's the free one. So I apologize for that. And now he's dropped into the 15-minute and he's talking about this general area here on this. Now, this fair value gap that formed right here, it traded back into it. Looks like mean threshold for another entry if you wanted, probably. Let's see. Almost in the middle. Take a short from there. Not bad, right? And let me just do a light blue. No, something brighter. Okay, maybe a light red. And yep. And then this candle drove back into it, mean threshold of this thing. About halfway. Could have been a short 5 handles into this. Actually, could you have gotten 5 handles? It's really close to it at that point. So if you'd done mean threshold, this would have been worth more on the 15-minute, obviously. But yeah, could have gotten 5 handles pretty quickly there. Bam. That's in that one candle right there on the 15. All right, so we have this. So price moved away. So the expectation, and they created this fair value gap right here for a potential small baby one right there. Mark that out properly. Now, if we're continuing on bullish, let me look at these candles. So, and I'm going to drop down to the 5 minutes, see if I can see this a lot clearer here. Okay. Let me draw this back this way. Okay. All right, so we came into this area here and we had shorter. So once it broke, well, actually, if we really zoom in on this, let's zoom in. Oh man. So technically we had a shift in structure because we have this lower candle, this lower candle. So once it shifted and broke here, then we could have used one of these order blocks, maybe this giant wick right here, entered for a long boom. But we had other opportunities right here. This is another order block at the wick of that to enter for a long. There, boom. And then could have written it to above this guy. Shoot, that guy, that guy, that guy. All the way up there. Now, just for funsies, let's head back over to, this is his 15 minutes. He's talking about that fair value gap and how price hung out. Okay, so these guys, so I'm curious about. So let me try and mark these out and let's try and analyze that. So order block, fair value gap. Okay, and he's on the 5 minute, perfect. So let me just mark out that guy. It's not perfect. And then this one. Can I just make it Okay, something like that. And then let's clone that. So I would have used, usually the close of the top one would be better. And then set my stop loss below the base of this candle. And then he's noting this order block right here for another entry. Beautiful. To go back up. Nice. And then we had this fair value gap right there. What else could we have played with? Because there's that entry, and then we had the order block and the fair value gap. I'm just specifying a bigger one there. Yeah, okay, yeah. So he's also doing the same, and this is the higher time, the 15-minute gap, but this is the 5-minute gap between this candle's low and this candle's high and that candle's low. So I'm gonna just clean that up, and then we would have been able to come in on an order right there. And then let's see what else we have. So this is fair value gap here. If you wanted, you could have entered in an order here to climb up. And then here we have another opportunity, pull through. This is all relatively balanced, tiny fair value gap right here that's filled up. I'm finding if there's 3 of them, I like to use like the second one, the top of that. The wick of that would have been even better. Stop loss below there. Let's see. Then he used the bottom wick for that one. Yeah. So he was looking at this guy right here. And then that you could have written that out to take out that buy side, that first buy side here. And from any one of these, let me do that clone right here. Where'd it go? Oh, clone the wrong thing. Control Z. Whoops. Let me clone this. All right, from my notes here. Come on. Could be a buyer right there. And we had some, yep, fair value gap right there. Did he note that? Am I even looking at the right one? This is at 4 o'clock. This is the afternoon one. Yep, I'm in the right place. Cool. Now, the thing that I'm not able to really notice really are the breakers in this scenario, right? I'm relatively decent at noticing the, the order blocks in the general vicinity, but was there a breaker that could have helped us in this general area here? You know, basically a lower area, um, like this break. I think this guy right here is a breaker. But let me know if you think I'm wrong about that, because we had a shift in structure here. We had a short-term low taken out, price traded back into it. These 2 are order blocks, so this whole thing would be a breaker. So then, when price came back up into here, you could have taken something from within the breaker. I assume a lot more practice before I can get really good at this. But there's also so I would have stopped trading between 12 and 1. So I wouldn't have taken this. And then I would have come back at 1:30, noted this low that was formed as sell side. That if they chose to take this out, then I could go bearish. They chose not to take it and instead started digging more. They took out this guy. So by 1:30, when I would have come back to come check stuff out, 1:30 right here, you know, wait a little bit, wait for that to get taken, and then wait for them to create some sort of imbalance for them to come back into for us to take another set. And I think that's what I took advantage of. Let me put my executions back on for a second. Yeah, so I took advantage of that when it came back in here for a 5 handle hit. Quick. This one would have been easier, but still. So I waited for them to come back into that order block, into that general vicinity, and took my order from here to here. I remember sitting and biting my nails a little bit on that one because I wasn't sure who was going to give me my 5 handles. Like it finally came up and tapped it there, and I was like, oh, whew, thank goodness. But like I was saying, this was like the first time it was coming down to this. I should have waited for it to get taken, and then this would have been a better entry from this order block right there, right on the 5 minute. And then I could have taken this entry would have been spot on, and then I could have gotten the 5 handles really easily without all of this additional pain and suffering. All right, so we're about 40 minutes in. Let me take these executions off and let's prep for the day, right? So I'm gonna go back over to the daily. Let's head back over. And something that I found very useful. Well, actually, so hold on, my bad. Gotta take a screenshot of all of this awesomeness. And let me add some annotations here. So plus OB makes sense because it's a bullish order block. You don't have to type as much. And let's add that in there. Let me pull this to the right. Let's pull this to the right. Pull that one. Pull that one. Let's add that in. Add that in. And then they left this one open. So usually he was saying like with bigger moves, you want them to leave the lower portion. So like if you were to, from the start of this move to about there, you want them to leave everything under the midpoint. At least I'm thinking the midpoint alone, which they did. They took care of this guy, and then they didn't bother to come back down into this guy. So part of the reasoning, and they did a similar thing here. Here's a relatively big one. Let me see if I'm right about that one. Yep. So here's a nice one. They came into this little guy. Yeah, barely. And then took off. So let me get my screenshots in. So let's do this. I want a nice view of this general space. Actually, let's do this on the 1 hour first. There we go. Get my views. Lovely. All the areas of potential. Let's get a shot of that for my notes, for my journal. Come on, 15 minutes. Cool. And then we can dive in here. Get a closer look. Lovely. And then let's go into the 5 minute. Am I typing? Let's go into the 5 minute on all of that. A little deeper into that. Okay, just to see what was happening there. And save that. And let's see if I can do the 1 minute so I can see the exact details of each of these. So like that. So this guy violated right there. Base of this order block. Let's see, what's the close is 39.75 even. And then the close of this one's 39.75.50. So we would have, and that one, the low is 39.75.25. And this one was 39.75 1/4. So, but we were using the higher time frame entries for that, so much better. I think this is a breaker right here, so could have also taken it from there. And the high of that, 39.76. Either way, did I take a picture of that one? 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then let's dive up here, get a closer look at these options up here. And got an image. Okay, so I have four things that I want to see. Beautiful. Now let's go back out to the daily on this and take a look at, and I'll go ahead and clean up this stuff that I don't need anymore. And just gonna hide it for the moment. All right, so the midpoint of this is where we're thinking they're going up to. Apparently this means this was an inside day because the high of this was inside this wick and the low of this is inside this candle. So I guess usually they expect some expansion after an inside day like that. Interesting. Well, it's just out of curiosity. Let's see if we can't find another inside day like that where the body of the candle is inside. The body of the candle of the previous day. So here's another one. So the wick of this is still inside that, the low of this is still inside that, expanded away. Some sort of expansion, not bad. All right, so we've already started to move up for the day. We're at 40.41 already, not bad. So I already know where we're headed. So let's get down to the 1 hour. I'm gonna put my annotations back in. And let's see, what they've already taken out this buy side right here, so I'm going to readjust it to this guy right there. Boom. As any long, yeah. And there's also that one at 40.40.60 and 40.49.50. This guy too at 40.43 and then 23. That's close though, so they'll be able to take that. Sell side, I'm gonna set at 40.37. Actually, let's look to our left and see. So it's 15 minutes. Do we have any relatively equal anythings? Well, this is definitely sell side at 40.31. So let's mark that out. Sell side. There's also this guy down here. That's sell side. So just aiming for targets. And yeah, I'm not seeing a ton of balances and we're wicking a bunch. So here's relatively equal. So things they could do is come into the middle of this candle, rejection candle. So 40, 47.75. Right now I'm going to set this because it's just too nice and clean. So I'll expect them to come and take 40, 46 even as well. So we're close. Let's see. All right, so we had this. They've come into it, traded into it, out of it. Looks like they've balanced it. This fair value gap right here. Looks like it's turned into resistance. So if we can bust through that, then we can get all kinds of bullish. In the meantime, they've taken out this short term. So shift right here. We have these two order blocks. They came back into the base one, which is where I would have aimed for. So what's the close? The close of that was 40, 43 and a quarter, and the high of this was 40, 43 and a quarter. Perfect. So if we'd wanted to, based just off of that, we could have gotten, let's see, 5 handles quickly right there. And 5 handles on them. Yeah. Not bad. Okay. So right now, what are we doing? So we came up in here, then we made another shift right here. So trading back into this, and these are very wiki, to this order block right here. I'm gonna use this one. Delineate that guy right there. And this one's gonna be a bearish order block because I'm expecting, so we had this shift, they traded back up to it, then we could aim for this guy down here. Let's see what it's doing on 1 minute. Yeah, pretty choppy there. That happened. Took out this sell side. It hasn't taken out this sell side yet, so that's still up for grabs. And there, guys. So I'm expecting this to get taken out and this. So, but it's 7:20 in the morning, so if you find a setup, enjoy yourselves. I'm gonna wait until after 8:30. Is there any news? Let's go to Forex Factory. And we're about an hour into this. And it is Thursday. The sun is finally coming out. So we're gonna have some GDP stuff. So definitely we'll be waiting to see what happens after 8:30 a.m. And then again at 9:30 to see what the setup's at. Let's take a quick look at, let's go back up to the 15 minutes. Let's take a quick look at what we've been doing since we started. So we've just been trading higher. We took that out and we came back down to the midnight open, which is at 40.3650 approximately. And then we're trading away from it. And now we're just going to wait to see what the 831 does. So I'm just gonna midnight open this candle right here. And let's specify midnight opening price right there. And then I'll wait. So far we've traded away from it nicely. Did we take out yesterday's high? Yes, you did. Took out Tuesday's high. And Wednesday's high. Yep. So we'll see what they do. Right now I'm just in a lovely little waiting pattern. I'll leave that at the 5 minute for now. Sell side here, sell side here. Be relatively easy to get 5 handles. I'm gonna put this thing back on. They've come back into this guy. Traded into this. Order block here. That one would have been too much. Actually, this one would be fine. 5 handles down. we'd gotten the open of that. Yep. On the 1 minute, what did that look like? So this order block, so the entry would have been about there, and 20 handles. Yep, would have gotten that. Oh my God, right on the nose almost. So that, and then we would have had to deal with this a little bit and then trade through it properly there. What's the close of this candle? 40.38.25. 40.37.75. So we would have had to wait for this to come back up and then take it out right there. Anyway, I'm going to take a pause and go have some breakfast. Thanks for hanging out with me. If you've been here the entire time, whoops, sorry, I am messing stuff up. Just get a Control Z on. There we go. Grabbing the wrong thing. Apologize for that snafu, y'all. Anyway, happy almost Friday, and safe trading. And we're gonna continue learning and growing. All right. So drop a comment, drop a like. Oh, hey, it's dropping into that fair value gap. If it busts through it, then. Oh, sorry. I'm over here talking about it, not showing it to you. Look at that. Fair value gap right here, sell side down here. We'll see what they do. I'm not trading anything at the moment though. Ooh, look at that. Void. They've got to come back up and clean that up. Yep. Interesting. Fascinating. Did it again. Let me get up out of here before I really mess this up. All right, guys. Drop a like, comment. Let me know your thoughts, how things are going with you for trading as well. And that's about it. Shakira, out.